Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Made a video 2 days ago talking about recruiting. We were talking about guys that were once committed to Tennessee, but they decided to reopen their recruitment. So they went ahead and they decommitted. We talked about 4-star offensive lineman Brandon Anderson. We also talked about 3-star defensive lineman Tyson Bacon. They committed early in the process. It was after the win over Alabama. Again, later decommitted. You can go back and watch that video if you want a full update on both of those guys. Tennessee still very much involved in it, but then you've got guys like Carson Snead, a 4-star tight end out of Nashville, Tennessee, also committed early in the process, but he continues to go through that process, right? He's taking visits to North Carolina, where his brother recently transferred. He's taking visits to Miami and Ole Miss, and I kind of asked you guys in that video, I said, which approach do you want from these kids? Stay committed, but take visits and phone calls, or just flat out decommit? And it's the same thing. It's all about perception, how you view that. I got some good back and forth with some of you guys, but it's the internet. So I got some typical internet responses saying that I'm an idiot for even asking if you guys preferred if a kid decommitted from Tennessee. I don't know, just an interesting question. I think it's worth a conversation. Obviously, what we want is for guys to shut it down, guys to stay locked in, committed to Tennessee, not taking the phone calls, not taking the visits. That's what Faison Brandon is doing, and that is now what 4-star wide receiver Tyreek King has done. You can see the graphic on the screen there from Hayes Fawcett. He says, breaking: Tennessee wide receiver commit Tyreek King has shut down his recruitment. You can see the quote there. Tennessee's culture is something I want to be a part of. Best fit for me, and knowing I'm for sure going to develop. No place like the Vols been home. So Tyreek King has shut down his recruitment. You can see a quote also if you go to Go Vols 247. He said, what made me go into lockdown with Tennessee was my relationship with the coaches. He says, when I look at Tennessee, I could see myself being a big part of what they do on offense. Been growing up in Knoxville, always been a fan, always wanted to play college ball for the city that I grew up in. Now, he committed to Tennessee early, back on October the 31st of last year. So we've really not talked a whole lot about Tyreek King on the channel. He's a 4-star wide receiver out of Knoxville, Tennessee, 6 foot, 170 pounds, ranked 111th nationally, and he's the 16th best wide receiver in the class according to the On3 industry rankings. But if you simplify it, and you go over and you just look at the On3 rankings, they actually just gave him a big boost. He went from being ranked 124th overall to 76th overall, a top 100 prospect here in Tyreek King, according to On3. Why the jump? Why the boost in rankings? Well, Charles Power over at On3, he's the director of scouting and rankings. This is what he said about the boost. Said King is one of the better athletes at wide receiver in the 2026 cycle. Said we had a chance to see him in person at the Nashville Under Armour camp as well, and we just came away impressed with the twitch and the explosion. He has been a productive, borderline dominant receiver at the high school level, and seeing him against the competition helped us understand where he stacked up in the group of wideouts. He's a really explosive receiver who can line up all over the formation, can win both deep and underneath, and he's dangerous with the ball in his hands. So, again, that's Charles Power over at On3. That's why the boost since Tyreek King from 124th to 76th overall. At one time, Tyreek King was debating taking his official visits. Georgia, Missouri, USC, Maryland were all involved. But now the only official visit he's going to take is to Knoxville on June the 20th. And again, Tennessee pretty much backloaded. We talked a lot about this last year, talked about it a lot this year. Again, backloaded. That June the 20th weekend is going to be a big weekend for official visits. So a lot of kids are going to be in town, and Tyreek King is going to have the opportunity to do a little peer recruiting. Now, there's another Tennessee target out there that we talk about being shut down. We talk about being locked down, but I didn't think this was in a good way. But Tennessee's still in this, and we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about it. As always, though, I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me real quick. Just go right down here below the video, smash the thumbs up. It's quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're new here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We don't pretend to be that. We don't sell you on that. What we tell you is the truth. We are exactly what you guys are watching this channel. We're fans. We're Tennessee fans. We talk Tennessee football all day, every day. If you like what we do, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. That way you won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, live every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. We play EA Sports College Football, but we talk all things college football. Also, if you want to support the channel, you like what we do, think about hitting that join button down there below beside subscribe. You can join the channel, become a member of the channel for only $1 a month. You keep the lights on around here, custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, access to fan call-in shows, and we're going to start doing some members-only streams, so stay tuned for that as well. But let's talk about it. Another guy that I thought was shut down, and for a different reason, and that is the old, dreaded Fong Bomb 5-star interior offensive lineman Darius Gray. On3 Recruits puts out On3 Steve Wiltfong has logged an expert prediction for LSU to land 5-star interior offensive lineman Darius Gray. Now, we know when Steve Wiltfong puts out a Fong Bomb, the instant reaction is, well, there is the spoiler. Spoiler alert, it is over. Darius Gray is off the board. Well, this is not a spoiler. This is actually a true prediction because Darius Gray is going to go through his official visits. There is a lot left in his recruitment. It's not like he's committing on Saturday and Steve Wiltfong is putting out the spoiler alert. This is what he said. This is what Steve Wiltfong said just 2 days ago. Said the On3 industry's #1 interior offensive lineman Darius Gray takes his second official visit to Georgia this weekend after taking one to in-state Virginia. I like where LSU stands going into the summer and have moved my On3 RPM to reflect that. Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, South Carolina, Tennessee also heavily involved here. Wiltfong has said that he feels like South Carolina is the other team that's kind of up there with LSU. So Darius Gray, again, a 5-star interior offensive lineman, 6'3", 285 pounds out of Richmond, Virginia, ranks 32nd nationally, but he is the #1 interior offensive lineman in the country. He dropped his top 12 back on Christmas Eve. Alabama, Michigan, Virginia Tech, Tennessee, Ohio State, LSU, Clemson, Georgia, Oregon, Penn State, Virginia, and South Carolina. That's a lot of teams, but you know what? Man, the NCAA, it used to be you got 5 official visits and that was it. So you kind of had to lock things down. Now it's unlimited. You can visit any school you want at least once officially. So his visit schedule is massive. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But who is Darius Gray? Scouting report from Andrew Ivins over at 247 Sports says he's an athletic offensive lineman with a dense build that has the foot quickness to lead the way on long pulls or counters and the horsepower to hold the line of scrimmage or change it. Said he ended up being one of the biggest surprises of the 2025 Navy All-American Bowl, and he's arrived with 34-inch arms that he was able to anchor all weekend against older and much larger defenders. Relentless energy allows him to not only be a plus finisher in the run game, but also readjust and recover in pass sets, tends to punch with authority, and frequently has the upper and lower halves dancing to the same tune. Has what it takes to certainly handle one of the corners on Saturdays, but combination of brute force and rare movement patterns suggest that he could emerge as a cheat code of a guard in a zone blocking scheme. Goes on to say might need a developmental year or two to find his bearings as he levels up in competition and adjusts to the speed of college game, but profiles as someone that has what it takes to blossom into an early round NFL draft pick with his basketball background and full-time two-way snaps at the prep level. So again, that's the scouting report from Andrew Ivins over at 247 Sports. So where are the Vols at in this thing? Where is Tennessee at? Because again, saw this on Twitter, said it's shut down, and then I saw an update last night from Matt Ray that kind of gives me a little bit of encouragement. But where is Tennessee at? You go back to February, Matt Ray of VolQuest said Tennessee was at the top of his schools, said he was hearing a lot about South Carolina, but he says, I think Darius is planning to take some visits before doing anything. So still room for movement here. He took a visit to Tennessee in the spring. This is from Steve Wiltfong. Says Gray spent a lot of time with Heupel, Glenn Ellerby, also offensive line analyst Chris Labadou, and assistant offensive coach Kevin Pendleton, among others. In the Gray sweepstakes, the Vols will recruit against Clemson, South Carolina, LSU, Michigan, and several others. This is what he said after the visit. What a time at Tennessee today. Loved every part of it, and I can't wait to get back real soon. Now, the update yesterday from Matt Ray that was kind of encouraged said Tennessee is actually using their in-home visit last night. So Tennessee went in-home last night to try to gain some momentum here with Darius Gray. Said the Vols are still very much in play, and they are trying to get him here for the big 865 live event coming up in less than 2 weeks. Again, a huge weekend of recruiting for Tennessee at that 865 live event. You get him to campus for that. You create some momentum heading into the official visits in June. Matt Ray went on to say LSU made a big impression on his last visit with them, which likely leads to the buzz, which likely leads to the Fong Bomb. But Matt Ray said Tennessee is going to come down to the official visit. So what does that schedule look like? Again, it is a massive list of official visits. Already been to Virginia, already been to Virginia Tech. He's got Georgia on May the 16th, Clemson on May the 30th, then Tennessee on June the 6th, Auburn June the 10th, Ohio State June the 11th, LSU June the 13th, Penn State June the 17th, and then he will wrap things up at South Carolina on June the 20th. So again, sometimes you guys are rolling Twitter, you see a Fong bomb, you think it is over. So did I. Did some research, did some homework. Tennessee still very much in it for the 5-star interior offensive lineman. What are your thoughts on all of that? Tyreek King shuts it down. Darius Gray, we thought, had shut it down, but Tennessee still in it. We will see what happens with the official visits. But that is going to do it for this one. Make sure you smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. That link is in the description below. There is also a link down there where you can join the channel. If you're on an iPhone, for some reason, the join button does not work. But if you want to support the channel, you like the content, the videos, the live streams, the community aspect, whatever it is you like about this channel, you want to keep the lights on every membership. We appreciate that support. But that is going to do it. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.